Oh, you thought you could have a party without moi? Oh, Riverdale. Where do I start? Riverdale is a CW show which follows the lives of teenagers who should be going to school but are really just getting up to all kinds of no good. From being amateur detectives, to writing their own novel, to starting their own gym, to starting a maple rum empire to rival their fathers. This show is not your average teen drama. I wish I could try and explain the plot, but after watching 4 seasons, it seems like they're just trying ideas on for size and none of them seem to fit. They throw out plot points like they're going out of fashion. Riverdale is based off the Archie comics, which were first released in the 1940s. The show's stylistics are influenced by the comic books. They borrow distinct features of the characters and in turn they remain highly stylized and almost cartoonish. In a tasteless way, the characters have distinct color palettes and wear the same style of clothing like it's a uniform. The show missed out on adding depth to the characters beyond the pages of the comic book, instead leaving them as cartoonish impressions. I miss a story arc with the costumes, which you often find when you grow with characters, especially over 4 seasons. However, maybe this is due in part to the show's lack of a coherent storyline. So let's take a closer look at some of the characters and their costumes. First, there is Archie Andrews, the classic boy next door, stand-up kind of guy. The costume director said she went for a 50s kind of impression for his character to add some innocence. By this she means white t-shirts, when he's wearing one, jeans and a Letterman jacket, which is very subtle on the 50s. This 50s influence was also used for the character of Betty, the girl next door, the Miss Americana of the show. At first this suits her as she is an innocent, do the right thing gal. However, as the show progresses, we see a darker side of her. We see her discovering a new side of herself, and another side, and another side as the show keeps trying different plot points. These changes and self-discoveries, however, don't affect her costumes. They stay the same, which for a high school student is really unrealistic. As you go from fresh-faced freshman to seen-it-all senior, you develop your style and you experiment. However, we just see her in the same shirt, skirt and pants in every pastel pretty pink color there is. We do get a glimpse of this darker side of her, the dark Betty. However, in true Riverdale fashion, it lasts for a couple of episodes before they completely abandon the plot point. This dark Betty was, quite frankly, farcical. She exchanged her blonde ponytail for a black, severe bob cut wig and her innocent pastel wardrobe for a dark, sexy one. The show doesn't seem to manage any kind of in-between, or any subtlety for that matter. Next, we have Cheryl Blossom. Cheryl is the exemplification of the color red, from her hair to her stained lips to her sharp nails. Beyond red, they aim and achieve at nothing really of depth with her costume. We see Cheryl lose her brother, go through horrific family drama which ends up in her essentially emancipating herself. She then takes care of her elderly grandmother and her dead brother. Yes, dead brother. All while coming out and falling in love. Despite all of this drama, she is always impeccably dressed in blood red. The costume designer said she was always dressed as if she was going somewhere. But why? That's not a character trait. Besides always looking like she's ready to walk the red carpet, the blood red and the creepy grandma-like brooches, they seem cheap. The spider symbolically stands for power and mystery and the darker side of yourself, but most people would miss that because just, ugh, spiders. This choice feels a little cheap, as I said, because there is a lot more to her character than just being power hungry and conniving. Okay, beyond the offense of those costumes, we still have the more palatable but still questionable costumes of Jughead, who is the dark and broody approximation of a hipster and whose leather jacket occasionally turns him into a gang leader, and his iconic crown beanie, which he never takes off. We then have Veronica, who is the high street attempt at what high class and money looks like. And then Tony, who is the alternative girl. And Kevin, who is the token gay musical theatre kid. As you can see, the costumes are so specifically tailored to each individual character that despite their shared short hemlines and tightness, there is no real unity to them. There is no story world which is built by the costumes. Some of the styles and cut of the costumes, beyond just Archie and Betty's and obviously Pop's chocolate shop, hint at the 50s. This nod to the 50s is often weak and very occasional. It doesn't attempt at creating this world and really just acts as a vague reminder of the comic book's aesthetic heyday. The show aims at a certain wokeness with its references and mild semblance of representation. However, it is just stereotypes. The costumes, in all their cartoonish glory, just emphasize this. Yes, it is based off comic books, and yes, part of their charm is the instant recognition of characters. However, the show isn't a comic book. Yeah, maybe they can keep their color schemes, but clothes can do a lot more than just color. They can represent mental and internal struggles the characters have and how they want to portray themselves in light of those, whether that be comfort for their own sake or for the sake of luring others in with a false sense of sincerity, or power dressing to make themselves feel good or present a strong front. The characters they have created over these 4 seasons have some depth to them, which you don't always see, but the costumes really don't demonstrate this. They are safe, pattern shy, and simply just a copy and paste of silhouette and colour for each character. I mean, some people maybe lie around their house like this. I know Cheryl does. However, this is more my style.